Well, today is the last day of confirmation hearings for Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. Senators will hear testimony and question outside witnesses today. This comes after yesterday's hearing was filled with tension as Republicans not only went after Judge Jackson's record, but also her religion and race. Nikole Killion is on Capitol Hill with more on what we can expect during today's hearing. So we will start with today before we, revisit what happened yesterday. Today will be probably a much calmer type of hearing, much different than the two previous days.
Well, we'll see, Aunt Marie, but, for the most part, at least for Judge Jackson, things should be calmer because she won't be in the hot seat since there will be a number of outside experts testifying. And so we expect to hear from, for instance, the head of the American Bar Association, the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, as well as other experts from civil rights organizations, law enforcement. Alabama's Attorney General is also one of the witnesses. So basically, they will be addressing the judge's record, talking about a number of legal issues before the panel, but definitely we are unlikely to see the same level of scrutiny we've seen over the past couple of days.
Yeah, I was surprised by the fireworks yesterday because I thought, oh, they asked her all those tough questions on the first day. The next day is going to be much more subdued. Instead, it was the opposite. Can you talk about some of the more contentious moments?
Yeah, well, basically it came from some of the same lawmakers. I mean, we saw, for instance, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley again kind of renew this line of questioning about the judge's sentencing record with respect to child exploitation cases and, continuing to prod her, saying that he didn't feel that she was answering her questions. But at a certain point, she said, I am answering your questions, and I've kind of laid out kind of why I made the decisions I did, but it wasn't enough really to satisfy Senator Hawley. Also, you had, for instance, Senator Ted Cruz, who also tried to pursue that same line of questioning. I mean, a lot of them really drilling down on these child pornography cases to the point that it did also irritate the chairman of this committee, who said, this was a fishing expedition in his view because they were trying to press and prod her even further. And they were trying to get more documents from some of the cases that she took part in. And then, Senator Lindsey Graham, his presentation and his line of questioning, he asked her everything from the first day about, her religion. He asked her if she had seen, the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, and also still pursued this line of questioning on these child sex offender sentences. So it just got to a point where many Democrats and even some Republicans, felt that things were kind of getting out of control and that they were kind of spending too much time on this issue to the point that it was detrimental to the hearing.
Yeah, Judge Jackson really sort of remained quite level the majority of the time, but there were a couple of times yesterday where you can see that she was really sort of being pushed. Speaking of Senator Lindsey Graham, you caught up with him. I want to play some of that sound.
What do you say to people who feel like you were too tough and out of line?
Well, I think I was very in line because she wouldn't answer my questions. I was asking her questions that I thought were inappropriate. And I said they were. I have a right for her to answer my question, and she wouldn't.
So where do lawmakers stand now on confirming Judge Jackson? Do you have a sense? Have you taken the temperature of the room?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I asked Senator Graham in that exchange later on if he was going to support Judge Jackson's confirmation, yes or no, and he simply didn't answer. Keep in mind that Senator Graham did back Judge Jackson's confirmation for the circuit court just last year, but he has been very critical during this hearing, saying that his preference was for Michelle Childs, who was another person who was under consideration before Judge Jackson was nominated. And I also asked top Democratic Senator Chris Coons yesterday as well, based on the lines of questioning that we have seen from Republicans, if he does think that they will ultimately support her. And he flatly said no. So, this could be an uphill climb for Democrats to try to get that Republican support. At the outset, the chairman said he wants this to be a bipartisan vote. That is something Leader Schumer has said, even though Democrats can go this alone if they want to. But we do know that certainly as soon as these hearings wrap, the Judge Jackson and her team are expected to be right back here on the Hill, meeting with senators to try to win more votes.
All right, Nikole, thank you very much.